I first heard the news from my cousin. He texted me to let me know. He was like, yeah, your dad passed away. I went to Coach Barnett. He just held me in his hand, hit me in his arms, and that's when all of like the rest of the word got out, and my teammates just pretty much just all surrounded me.
We all immediately went to him. He was struggling, asked him what he wanted to do. He was scheduled to start that day, and he wanted really to be around his team. That was his family.
I said, yeah. I know he would want to watch that game anyway. I told him I was going to be able to start that game. And so we walk, and we're going down like our Spartan walk, our normal Spartan walk that we do. And I'm surrounded by Chris Fry and Moofy Hunt, and they're just holding me. When we get to the field, we all traditionally lock arms and walk on, but me and Coach D stayed behind. And he just wanted me to know that, like, my brothers, they're here for me, you know, and they were there for me, you know, and my parents were divorced, but my dad, he was always around. We grew up with him. He raised us. He did everything he can, and that means a lot, especially like the environment we're in. Like most people don't have a dad. Most people don't get to grow up with having a father in their life. You know, he was a big part of my life. He was the main reason why I love school so much and stuff like that. And my mom, she's a very, very, very strong woman. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. This street was 1310 Hendricks. In Dallas, Texas, we had a nice little view of the city where I grew up. Pretty much our neighborhood was all close. Everybody knew everybody on every block. So we all just kind of bonded from then, and everybody went to the same elementary school, same middle school, same high school. But it was definitely tough where we came from. We was always moving around, bouncing around house to house. It was a lot of negativity, basically. And so it's just what it was. Violence, drugs.
The focus level for him to avoid the temptations of partying and doing various things was elite. And with the temptations, right, that exist for most teenagers, but specifically teenagers from the 4 block where them guys are from out there in Mesquite. It's rare to have seen kids that have gone through the adversity that he had gone through.
Sports was the main thing to keep us distracted. That in school, I was the one, out of all my brothers, I say I was the one whose main focus was school. As soon as I get from school, go straight home, do my homework, and I'd be free for the rest of the day. And I just hanged out with my friends. And me and my friends, all we did was more sports stuff anyway. So just kept doing that repetitively and not knowing like it was gonna keep me out of trouble. Just doing it because I felt like doing it and felt like it was fun for me.
He wasn't the biggest kid, he wasn't necessarily the fastest kid, but he was a kid that worked the hardest. It's kind of one of those things where you started out as a freshman and a sophomore. He might not even have been the best player on the team at the time. As he kind of grew up to being a junior, he kind of, really worked his way into being a starter for us. And then, of course, as a senior, he came in and all that hard work paid off. And you get him out on the field, he was the fastest kid on the field. I mean, everybody else sometimes felt like they were running in slow motion.
Josh Butler was a ball-playing guy, and when the lights came on, he was a good practice player. He was good Monday through Thursday, but on Friday, man, he turned up and became a whole nother guy and made just a bunch of plays for us, was just an encouragement to his teammates. He got other guys around him to play better.
Coach Ward, he really helped my game go up another level, and that's when like the crowds became bigger. A lot of the people started noticing who I was.
All the kids would just flock to my house. They didn't have anywhere to go. That's where they stayed. When they didn't want to go home, that's where they stayed. I just got used to coming in the house and just stepping over. He would come and say, can I come? Or, can I stay the night? Or whatever the case might be. But it was times where you just knew. You just knew. When they were all at the house or he was sitting at the house, you just didn't, it was something that this is where he needed to be.
It was kind of an all hands on deck. It wasn't even a planned thing. It wasn't something that all the adults sat down and said, hey, you do this, I do this, you do this. It's just people kind of stepped in, and his friends' moms helped out a lot. Josh would get to school extremely early. School started, I think, 8:45, and he would be in the coach's office 7:15, 7:20, just watching film, because that's what he did. He'd get there early because he had to, and he'd just sit there and watch film. You kind of just understood that's his character. He's just gonna handle it and move forward and do what he can do and control what he can control.
Man, those guys that grew up together on the fold, like they used to call it, were close-knit guys away from the field. Their parents raised them all together, and I think that community that kind of adopted the village mentality in terms of when you see my kid out of line, get them corrected, and when I see your kid out of line, I'll get them corrected.
It takes a community, because I would hope that if it was my personal kids, that somebody would reach out and do the same thing. It's just what it is, and they all just stay close to one another, take care of one another.
Spending more time with them more than anything was a blessing. They became a huge impact on my life. It was like a lot of rough stuff happening. I just needed somewhere to stay, and they took me in with open arms. That right there, I could have been homeless. Anything could have happened. The Greyhound bus ride took 49 straight hours. It was an experience, I tell you that. Like, I stopped in a bunch of places. This is something that wouldn't stop me, It was the most affordable thing that I could, handle, or that we could, come up with.
I was told, want to go visit Tennessee? Okay, then you're going to come on back. Then I remember my kid's dad getting a phone call. He's like, did you know they putting Josh on the bus to go to Michigan? I said, no, Josh can't get on no bus to go to Michigan State. What's wrong with y'all? Who bought that ticket? He said, well, I bought it. I said, why would y'all send that baby all the way to What is he going to do once he get off the bus?
I recall conversations with Josh and him saying, man, I want to get out of Texas. I want to experience something else. His demeanor, his work ethic, his character and mentality, I had no doubt that he would make it wherever he decided to go.
That's the kind of kid he is. If it's there and it's laid out for him, a plan, and he buys into it, he'll go to any distance to do it. I don't think there's an extreme for him.
Mossing takes the snap, in trouble in the backfield, and drilled and dropped back at the 16. Spartans all over him. Josh Butler from the corner.
Nobody else really persuaded me to go to a certain school. They made me make my own decisions, which I've been doing my whole life anyway. I just didn't let nobody know until, close to the end. I was like, yeah, I was gonna go to Michigan State anyway. Whether you like it or not, whether it's super far away from Texas or not, I can fly back. For one, I wanted to get out of Texas, just to experience life more, get to know places. And I'm glad I came to Michigan State anyway, because I've been through a lot. Everybody who actually says it's a family here, they're for real. It's really a family here, and they take care of you. And no matter what you're going through, you can always have somebody to talk to. At least I had them to help me out through pretty much anything, especially dealing with the deaths of my family, and it was a great decision that I made, probably one of the best decisions of my life. My mom first told me she had stage 4 cancer for the second time. When that happened, I was able to actually finish classes and stuff early, and I packed up all my stuff, and they told me it was a possibility of it being terminal. It was tough to just see it, 'cause nobody wants to see your mom struggling and stuff like that. When she passed, we was able to give her a nice funeral service. Everybody wore pink and white for breast cancer. We was able to get a proper burial and stuff for her, which was great. But also with my time down there, it was a lot of business that I had to take care of. Actually, my dad's ashes, I took that and I drove 2 hours to his mom's grave, because he never got the chance to actually visit his mom. When he lost his mom, he just pretty much went into depression. Knowing that now, and knowing what your parents was going through and stuff like that, and understanding it, I got a better understanding of life and what really goes on in life, and it shows who is there for you and stuff like that. But I drove down 2 hours to my grandma's grave, and I buried the urn there with my grandma. And this, like I said, this is what I got from it. And like I said, I keep it with me at all times.
Sometimes you just need to be there and wrap your arms around him and just hold him, because that's what he needs. I think growing up, that's probably a lot that he missed out on. It's been hard for him. It's been hard to just sit here and watch him come and go. You know that it's on his mind, and no matter how much you hug him, until it passes, until it gets a little older, it's gonna be there. We sat here and he bawled, and I bawled with him. But it's gonna be okay.
For him to continue to do things the way he's doing them and represent Michigan State and represent his last name and his community where he went to high school, there's something great at the end of this journey for Josh Butler. You can just feel it.
There's not a day that don't go past where I don't think about my mom or think about my dad. I know they'll be proud of me regardless. I just know that my parents are looking down from up above, and it just smiling. Sit, good, shake, good.
Josh is a winner, and he's always been a winner. And he's continuing to win right now. What he did, not only will it inspire a generation of young folks that look up to him like his little brothers, kids growing up over there in the West Mesquite attendance zone that know Josh Butler, he'll inspire those folks to go out and be different and pursue college. And then for his own family, he just rewrote the whole story this point forward on the Butler boys.
Josh is just another example of when you make a decision, no matter your circumstance, anything that you're willing to fully put everything you have into is achievable. Like they say, he got it out the mud. I mean, through and through. I know that's a popular thing for people to say. Josh Butler is a perfect example of a kid that made a decision, and no matter the circumstance, he got to where he wanted to be. And I don't think that journey's over for him. Keep being Josh Butler, be you. And I think that's something that he's embraced. I think that's where the Josh Butler TV thing comes from.
Academic excellence.
Academic excellence, Roxy. That's what we did. That's what we did.
I really believe that because of everything that he's been through, he sees himself being in that role model to help the next person. And that's where I see him at the most. Whether it's doing one of his crazy videos. You could be having a bad day, and because he done came out and did something crazy, you just be laughing all over the place. And I think he brings that out of the next person.
I actually got a hit on a running back today. From the day I stepped on campus to going through adversity, being able to live prosperous and thank God for being able to at least graduate or to get 2 degrees at that. I'm glad that I've went through everything that I went through, and I'm glad that I did it here.